What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at it again with another video. So, I've asked y'all to give y'all opinions on the worst creative and booking decision that Vince McMahon has ever done. I've asked y'all to do the same thing for Triple H since he's been in control over the creative and the booking side of WWE for the past few years. And of course, it only made sense that I asked the same question, but this time for another company in AEW. How do you guys feel about Tony Khan's booking booking decisions and creative decisions? Now, I did get a chance to see some of the clips from AEW Full Gear this year, and I will say some of the decisions that he made last night, 2 thumbs up for me. First and foremost, Samoa Joe is your new AEW World Champion. I'm all for it. I know Samoa Joe is supposed to be hanging it up relatively soon. I don't know if it's going to be next year, but I know he said he's going to be hanging it up, retiring the boots. Samoa Joe is fantastic, man. And the fact that he was able to get another world championship in AEW, he is the perfect champion to have. He's believable, he's cool, he's intense, he's vicious, he's everything you would want your world champion to be, man. And the only thing that I wish about his first world championship run is I wish it could have been a little bit longer. Maybe they do that this time, but nevertheless, Samoa Joe is your world champion. I don't think I've seen anyone really complain about it. I'm sure there may be people that feel, maybe Adam Page should have held it on a little bit longer, but me personally, I'm okay with it. Samoa Joe is at the top of the card again. I'm all for it, bro. Next, I did see Jon Moxley tap out once again to Kyle O'Reilly, which is very interesting. He's tapped out multiple times to one person. Maybe this may be the signs that the Death Riders is ending, that whole situation, or maybe Jon Moxley's time in the Death Riders is ending. Then I also did see the Young Bucks actually turn babyface again. They helped Kenny Omega against the Don Callis family, which honestly I hadn't really been keeping up with it. I just know there's a lot of people in that family. So the Young Bucks helped out Kenny Omega. They embraced, so I did see that. And then the biggest thing that I was really concerned with was Chris Statlander going to retain against the unstoppable Mercedes Moné, who recently just got another championship. I think she's at 14. I could be wrong, 13 or 14. It's ridiculous. It was a scary situation going into the show. Tony Khan made the right decision, had Chris Statlander not only beat Mercedes, but retain the championship, which I am so glad that he did, because I think it would have been a big mistake to have Mercedes take that off of her. So I'm actually glad that he did that. And also, Swerve Strickland returned at the end of the match with Adam Page and Samoa Joe. Swerve Strickland returned back. So that's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with Swerve and Joe. I think that's going to be a pretty good program. I believe Hooked realigned with the Ops again. So that was a pretty interesting turn. But overall, it seems like the general consensus that I've seen online, a lot of people are liking how Tony booked the show. So, excluding what he may have did at Full Gear, we're going to check out some of the y'all opinions and tweets on Tony Khan's overall booking over the past few years. Appreciate everyone that actually took time out their day to respond. This was the tweet, of course. What was the worst booking and creative decision Tony Khan has ever made so far? Send a picture or a GIF in the replies. I'm ready to hear from the sickos. All right, got this from Phantasm. Booking of the Undisputed Kingdom, the infamous Punk / Elite stuff, making Jericho ROH and FTW champion, airing the all-in Punk Perry stuff, Cody getting banned from the world title, excessive amount of titles, clusterness of Don Callis family, misuse of various wrestlers / Rusev and Black. Yeah, that's a fair one. Wild Child Billy. I honestly wouldn't know, being I'm not an AEW person. I see her going to TNA. What does this have to do? If you're not an AEW person, just don't respond. This is for people who watch AEW and wanted to voice their opinion. Okay. Thanks, Wild Child. Thanks, bro. Bischoff, if you get past the hype, you realize 90% of his creative or booking has been piss poor. His biggest mistakes is booking the show. All right. Oh, Phantasm with some more. Cody versus Malachi Black feud. Women's division booking. Turning Dark Order into from serious to comedic. Double-edged sword take. AEW Revolution 2021. Pyro bots. The prolonging of the Death Riders booking. How MJF is utilized currently compared to before. The Brandy and the Awesome Kong team. Okay. He had some more. And all he just said, sent the gift was yes. Depressed Titan fan. Anything Jericho related post 2020. The Jericho experiment did get kind of, I wouldn't even call it an experiment. I mean, he was a pivotal part of AEW getting some footing in the early days, but then it just got kind of like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on here? You know, it started to wear thin on the hardcore sickos that was actually watching the show weekly. Fasal, fumbling Cody, fumbling Wardlow after he beat MJF, fumbling CM Punk, and fumbling MJF babyface run. Yeah, I think the biggest disappointment is the Wardlow stuff, because Wardlow gave me Batista Evolution vibes of how over he was. And then it didn't materialize into nothing substantial. And then I think he came back recently and then got injured. He just had unfortunate luck, bro. I think Wardlow is definitely one of the biggest what ifs for AEW in a very long time. Maybe the biggest what if ever. Zale, Ethan Page, because he could have been the next face of AEW, but Tony let him walk and join WWE, where he's being a main event guy on NXT with the North American Championship and holding the NXT title for a while, and now has a tag team championship belts with Chelsea Green fumbled. Yeah, the thing about Ethan Page is they didn't utilize him like he should have been used in AEW, but once he jumped ship or left and went to WWE, they utilized him perfectly, especially in the NXT system. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward whenever they do call him up to the main roster, how he'll settle in. But right now in NXT, he's knocking it out the park. All right, next is YK. I don't know, but I'm running out of toilet paper on this roll for Triple H bad decision. Okay, should have commented that on the other post that I made about Triple H. This person right here, the United Kingdom storyline where Adam Cole revealed himself as the devil and fumbling Wardlow. Yeah, that did not work. And once he got hurt, it didn't work. Easily the worst creative decision Tony Khan has ever made. This should have been the moment he pulled the trigger on Jay White championship run. Yeah, I know a lot of people were hoping Jay White would have been a world champion in AEW, but that is not the case. That's not what he decided to do. A turnbuckle, honestly, like how AEW does things. If I were to complain, I would say I would have rather seen the Outrunners with the tag titles this year at some point. Okay, all right. Leonard, I can't take this seriously. The learning tree. Who remembers that? I understand Mariah dreams of WWE grandeur, but I wish the AEW fought harder to keep her. She's doing well in NXT and could do well on the main roster. I always felt she was better suited for AEW, but her championship run was disappointing and could have been better. This was a pretty high-profile feud for sure. Solomon, the bad booking of Wardlow. GG's Wardlow, bro. Wish things would have ended off differently for you, bro. Meat. The booking of Wardlow after MJF. See another individual that understands the pain of watching Wardlow go from somebody that really should have been the future of the company to much of nothing, honestly. They didn't capitalize. Troy. The Devil storyline. Wardlow's push after his feud with MJF. It's a lot. Yep, unfortunately, JM87 not putting the tag belts on these guys. Okay, yeah, they honestly, out of all the years that I've watched AEW here and there, I felt like they've had some really, really good, talented tag team, and then it's like they would miss the mark on either putting the titles on someone when it made sense to put it on them, and then waited a little bit later when it lost a little bit steam, or they just wouldn't do it at all. So, Phantom, sadly, I cannot join this one because I don't watch the product. Thanks for letting me know. Mello, anything Chris Jericho? That's wild. Early Chris Jericho was great. Later Chris Jericho, debatable. The Cerebral King of Games have MJF and Adam Cole switch roles. Yeah, that was kind of when. Yeah, that kind of was when MJF basically came back and attacked Adam Cole, and then they kind of switched roles essentially. But it was because Adam Cole legit got injured, and it just makes sense. MJF is always better as a heel. This person right here, his booking. Yeah, they didn't do much by my guy. Like, he was in AEW, was the initial shock, and they ain't really do too much. I think he ended up clocking Cody in his debut with the steel chair, busting him open or something like that. They ain't really do much. Everything in this storyline after this moment, yeah, it was a rough one, bro. Mikey, recency biased, but maybe the first several months after the Death Riders took the title. What made it worse was it was the main story in the world title, and it just wasn't good for so long. Yeah, I think a lot of people with the whole Death Rider stuff, it overstayed its welcome. It overstayed its welcome. Was it a great moment to see Adam Page, get the title and take it from the Death Riders? That was a fantastic moment. So fucking fun. I enjoyed that moment. But it overstayed its welcome for a very long time. It just did, in my personal opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. It was just like, what are we doing here, bro? What's happening here? Christian, he has some gifts right here, and then this one. He just posted those gifts. Omega, Warlord's push getting derailed, the Death Riders, and releasing Punk versus Perry footage. These are all things that AEW massively screwed up, in my opinion. Yeah, to this day, it makes absolute no sense why he released that footage. I don't know why he did it, but he fucking did it. To this day, I don't know why Tony Khan released that footage. I didn't see the purpose of doing that. Frank, the last title run, putting the title in the briefcase for months on end. Yeah, that was kind of a questionable decision because we never saw the title no more. It was just in a fucking briefcase. I can't find a gif of airing the Punk security footage, but that would be it. Letting Cody just book himself, essentially, also a bad idea. Justin Payton, the latest booking of the Hurt Syndicate, it seems like they were doing something and had the people invested at one point. This is very true. At one point they were, in my opinion, the best thing on the show. They were fucking, their entrance music, how they looked, how they moved within the ring and stuff, like they hurt people. And people want to see people get hurt. It was some good stuff. They've kind of faltered. I don't know how much, because I haven't been watching as much, but the stuff that I have seen, people are not talking about them as much as they should be. So maybe they can get them back on track. Tasha, Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné and Keith Lee. Damn. I'm surprised I haven't seen any Mercedes Moné stuff on here yet. Jerry, not putting the OG tag team in the final round of the tournament. TK style of inconsistent booking is the reason my interest in AEW is very low at this moment. And unless something changes, I won't be surprised if others begin to walk due to when their contracts expire. Interesting. Well, general consensus last night that people we're enjoying what he did for Full Gear. Did we forget this man came back? Okay. David turning Chris Statlander heel at All Out 2024 and separating from Stokely all without an explanation. Yeah, that was kind of random there. Joseph, this whole devil storyline, just why? Majin, this went on way too long, and it never felt like it was settled properly. This was an early feud of MJF and Chris Jericho. Nisha, the whole Death Rider storyline, which a lot of people feel. All this right here. Look back at it. It probably wouldn't be the best decision, but imagine Christian Cage winning this. That would have been interesting. I think that would have been pretty cool. But once again, the Death Riders had everything in a chokehold, so no. Jake, I really haven't watched AEW. Thanks for letting me know. This person right here, turning Adam Cole face after the devil reveal. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, he was hurt. So there really wasn't much he can do. And then when once he got hurt, I think that ruined any type of real momentum because he was legit hurt. How am I supposed to be afraid of someone, even though he got goons around him? My boy can't even walk properly. Like a lot of things it went against him in that. It was just unfortunate. Maybe if he wasn't hurt, it probably would have been much better. But he was hurt, so it derailed what they had in mind. This person, not gonna lie, Ross, a lot of people in these comments don't watch and or hate AEW and its shows. I wasn't trying to get people to hate AEW, but there are people in here that are showing some of their critiques on the show. So I don't know what posts you've been looking at, but I've just checked out a few, and there are people giving out legitimate criticism. Yep, Wardlow did him dirty. Should have been treated better in the sense of booking. This whole situation, jeez, this was, oh brother. I am Spidey, Team Taz, and the FTW belt was one disappointment after another. Let's see, V-Town, Santana and Ortiz should have had a run with the tag titles. I think a lot of people agree with that. Right here, South Memphis Prince built up Wardlow as an unstoppable beast like Goldberg. Fans chanting Wardlow during his feud with MJF. He was over with the fans. He was loved by the fans. He returned to being an enforcer for the Undisputed Kingdom. It does nothing, and now he's out indefinitely with a torn pectoral muscle. Yeah, bro. He just had the worst luck, bro. Wardlow is the biggest what if, bro. Biggest what if. George Hopkins, the entire Death Rider storylines for sure. This faction, the learning tree, get it out of here. Fumbling Cody. The first match was a no. Their first match was a no. It didn't. How they hyped it up, it didn't land. All right, nostalgic with the first Mercedes Moné post. Mercedes Moné holding all the gold should be a crime. Damn. Oh, this right here, them showing the AEW brawling footage. It has hard AEW since. I'm guessing he meant to say is it hit AEW hard ever since because of that. Swerve losing to John Moxley. I waited 5 hours for nothing on AEW Dynasty. Fumbling Blake Monroe / Mariah May. Now I'm starting to see some more Mercedes Moné gifts. Real glass. Cry me a river. Wardlow, enough said. Big facts. What's this? Is this what's the name? The guys from TikTok? I get it. Official Shadow Gamer 97 said the barbed wire death match, of course, like on TV, it sucked badly and people started to make memes of it, but you make it look good on the video game. Like, come on, fam. That's why certain things, if you can't really go that extreme, I probably wouldn't do it, because I've seen some clips of some barbed wire death matches, and in comparison, it was night and day. But I don't know how extreme they want to, are allowed to really, really go. So, Mundo, belting up Phil Brooks. I wouldn't say that's a questionable decision, but I think because how everything played out, it ultimately didn't help them. Brian, everything since day one. All right, bro. Come on. Don't do that, Brian. Jordan, airing this live as it did a lot of damage to them during this time, but it's slowly progressing into the right direction as I see clips from their show since I've only watched their pay-per-views. Yeah. Once again, this made absolute no sense to air. Mark Morales trying to convince us that Adam Cole was the good guy in the MJF feud was pretty brutal. Yeah, that didn't land. Blue Jay Bry, only one I can truly attest for is not putting the tag titles on Santana or Ortiz. I've seen few people say that. Firing CM Punk, my life was in danger. I mean, I think it just worked better. It's unfortunate, but I think CM Punk being there was a lot of tension in that locker room. I think from a standpoint of just everybody being able to, work effectively, for the most part, it was probably the best decision Tony Khan could have did, because we ultimately got some pretty fire stuff in WWE because of it. So my bias there is it was a good decision. It was a good decision. Thank you, Jack Perry. Urban Legendary. Honestly, wasting Wardlow momentum when he was very over as hell with the fans. Even when he broke up with MJF, they did nothing with him at all after that, and also Aaron CM Punk backstage brawl. Fair enough. And right here, I'll probably do these last few. The Moxley and Punk squash on TV made no sense. It didn't. Why give your biggest money match away for 2 weeks before your big show to do a squash? Didn't expect people to watch the rematch for a price. It would be like doing Rock versus Cena on Raw 2 weeks before Mania 28. Yeah, that was a confusing one as well. Wrestle reviews, Kyle and Roderick not winning tag gold yet. Don't know if they're going to do that. Kyle did tap out John Moxley at Full Gear. Now, if I do remember correctly, I think was Punk injured? I'm not sure what was going on around that time. I don't know if Punk was injured around that time with Moxley. I'm not sure, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even remember. Y'all let me know down below. And the last one, Ty fumbling MJF and Adam Cole feud. I love MJF as a babyface. I don't know how he could have messed this up. I understand injuries got in the way, but it's truly unfortunate. Yeah. People were enjoying this, but then injuries, and then they tried to essentially retcon stuff. It didn't work. It didn't work. And MJF is always better as a heel. And the face run was cool for what it was, but he's always better as a heel. So, but hey, appreciate everyone that sent in a response. Thank you so much. If I didn't get a chance to it, please don't take it personally. Just don't want to make this video too long. But thank y'all so much for giving in your personal takes on the creative decisions that Tony Khan has done over the year. But before I end this video, I actually want to ask y'all a question. Did you guys enjoy Full Gear last night? Did you guys enjoy Tony Khan's creative decision in booking ideas last night? Let me know. Did he actually, do something that you guys appreciated and truly enjoyed, and looking forward to, how things are going to play out? Or do you feel like he made some missteps as well last night? Y'all let me know down below. But I appreciate all love, support. Road to 200K. Appreciate y'all kicking for me. See you on the next one. Peace.